There is an old Chinese proverb that says to understand your parents' love, you must raise children yourself. And most parents would agree. New families are born every couple of seconds, and many parents will say that once their child entered into the family picture, their perspective on life and love changed forever.
Sure.
Andrea and Joel Reynolds have seen that happen firsthand. It's a Tuesday night, and you wouldn't find them anywhere else but here, at home, in their playroom, enjoying their kids, Isaac and Eve. The Reynolds have been married for almost 8 years, and if you're thinking they look really young to have been married for so long, that's because they are. They met while in university.
I was going to school in Arkansas at Harding University, and I had a friend there who was dating a girl, and he went out on a date with this girl and came back from that date, and he says to me, Joel, I just met your future wife.
Well, those words proved to be true, and after 2 years of dating, Andrea, 20, and Joel, 23, got married. They enjoyed a year-long honeymoon, but once they returned home, they had to settle into an everyday routine. And while they dealt with the average couple's quarrel from time to time, the major issue was finding time for each other, often in the midst of the busyness of life.
Well, yeah, you realize that a lot of things get in the way of a marriage. Like jobs get in the way, and friends get in the way, and responsibilities that you have to other people or to your church even, or things like that. And I find that in an odd way, there are a lot of things that attack that closeness that you desire from one another.
But they were still able to find time to spend together. But after 5 years of marriage, things were about to change. Told they might never get pregnant, their son Isaac was born on October 19th, 2006. And 2 years later, Evelyn, their daughter, joined the happy family.
Yeah, but it's been a joy above anything else. Having kids has just been awesome. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, we wouldn't go back.
But what Joel and Andrea weren't prepared for, they say, was how their lives would change once kids entered the equation.
All right. Pepperoni. You know, you thought, okay, kids, like, all right, that's cool. But I mean, it seems like there's always something to do. If I sit down, I find that I feel that I'm doing something wrong because there's a million things that I could be doing rather than sitting on the couch, you know? So yeah, and sometimes it's overwhelming, and you feel like, okay, I'm doing the same thing all the time. I'm always cleaning the kitchen. I'm always picking up toys. I'm always changing diapers. And you kind of get into that like rhythm where you're just like, okay, I've had enough of that, you know? So yeah, I was not prepared for it.
And Andrea's not alone. Marriage counselor Dr. Paul SCUSE says many couples aren't prepared for children. And while life will change for a couple of years as both parents invest in their children's lives, he says they must realize parenting is a partnership.
Certainly children will change the relationship, absolutely, and forever. And it's got to be a decision that both in the couple are firmly committed. Now we got another whole person in this relationship that has lots and lots of needs, bigger needs, health and safety needs that have to be a priority. That means I won't have as much time for my spouse. And is the spouse okay with that? To say, you know what, I can step back a bit now, and I can watch while my partner gives more attention to my child than attention to me.
While millions walk down aisles like this one every year saying yes to marriage, many are not prepared for what happens next. How does the nursery rhyme go? First comes love, then comes marriage, then comes the baby in the baby carriage. Many counselors say couples don't discuss how they'll keep their love alive once baby comes home.
Well, that's something we read early on. Mm-hmm. I think one of the first books we read when we found out Andrea was pregnant. Well, I don't remember the book, or maybe you could tell me.
No, I don't remember.
But I remember that it said that. It said, hey, your child is not the center of your relationship. Like, you two existed before your child did. And then the secondary thing is that your children, you know, it's very important for your children to see that you love each other.
And while the Reynolds have made a conscious effort to make each other a priority, even in the midst of raising 2 kids, they both admit it hasn't always been easy. Dr. SCUSE has seen many couples struggle to keep their marriage intact while raising a young family, and while children will always be the center of attention, he agrees with the Reynolds. A husband and wife's love must always come first.
It has to be intentional. If we leave it to, well, when we get a moment, we'll have time for ourselves, it won't happen, not spontaneously. It's got to be that husband and wife together say, our relationship is still a priority here, and we have to book some time just for us. It's very easy for husband and wife to just focus on what I would call the maintenance issues of, did all the bills get paid? Did you contact the contractor around the leaking roof? Who's going to do transportation to school and back? And if that becomes our sole conversation, then we've lost each other in the process. And so we have to have some time where we can say, this is about us.
And another issue that is pertinent to keeping a healthy, functioning marriage, especially when it includes kids, is communication.
Not only is communication important, but how do we communicate with each other? Because again, in our families growing up, how did people communicate? Did they communicate upfront, open conversations, or was it somehow hidden and under the table, that you just knew that somebody was giving you a message, but they never really said it? And so in our couple relationship, how are we going to talk to each other? Can we be that open? Can we share with each other that clearly? Or because we're in this wonderful relationship, you should be able to read my mind, and I shouldn't have to tell you what I need. And if I do have to tell you, there's something wrong, they might say. Whereas I think it's much clearer to be able to just talk to each other and say, here's some of the things that I need.
And that's why Andrea and Joel feel they have been able to last this long in marriage. The lines of communication are always open, and with that, they both feel their love for each other has only grown stronger.
We had a friend once recently tell us, like, oh, you know, it kind of doesn't get fun after a while, right? Like, it's supposed to go away, and we were shocked. We were just like, oh, that's so sad. Why would you think that? You know, it's supposed to be more fun even. And we've said that, like, when we first got married, obviously, I just loved him more than I ever imagined. But now it's even better. Like, I love him more.
And we try to, I think, deal with our problems as they come. So we try not to just sort of, you know, a problem happens and we don't solve it and just let them build up. So, yeah, I feel like, you know, each day we wake up and, you know, we're still in love. So that's huge.
And ultimately, that is the secret, Dr. SCUSE says. Couples must keep in mind that the love between them has to be strong so that their roles as parents can be stronger.
Let them know that you still care and that you still love them in the midst of all the diapers and homework and everything else that goes on. Find time to look in your partner's eyes and just remind them of all the things that you still see in them, no matter what life gives on the day-to-day.
Tomorrow on I Did and I Do, The Case for Marriage, we'll find out there's a lot more to marriage than love. It could just be one of the biggest poverty fighters we have.